What's going on, Chuckleheads? It's LordMANIX, and we're going to do a review of Anthem's demo, give you some thoughts, ideas, and what I see going on down the line with this. Let's get into it. You know, summarizing this is, it feels like their attempt to get some of that Destiny crowd after Destiny 2 failed extremely hard. You know, they saw the success of Destiny 1, they heard the complaints, and they definitely built a game that looks like it has the potential to be a much better experience. Little interactions with the people, from the characters that talk through your, UI, and while you're in mission, that's fine. They're all doing really good with that. It's much better than having, Dinklebot running around and saying a bunch of nonsensical shit. It wasn't bad, but it didn't add enough to Destiny. So this game, with the little interactions I've had with people, the conversations I had, it felt more like an RPG, which is what I thought Destiny was supposed to be. Then you've got the combat and things like that, and like I said, it needs some improvements, needs some polish. It feels clunky, but for a reason, and so it's good. The flight is awkward at first, but once you start to learn how to toggle through the different maneuvers and controls, it really does feel good, and it's fun, and I really enjoyed being able to fly from one point to the other, and I really hope you can extend the flight time through mods on your Javelin and things. So we'll see if they can get that to go as well as I think it could be, because overall I really enjoyed that part of it. I thought that added a lot to the combat, being able to fly from one point to the other and then dive in with a melee strike, throw a grenade, start shooting everybody, roll dodge out. It was fun. It was entertaining to do. So overall, I think the combat was really good. It needs little polishes here and there to balance maybe. Shotguns are OP as usual, but you have to be on top of people. So until I get that Titan Javelin, I'm not trying to be a melee combat character. I'm not trying to frontline with a shotgun. That's stupid. Overall, the world, the sound, and the graphics are just impressive. They are. They really do blend you into blend well. They're seamless, and they really bring you in. The overall experience with it, I didn't mind it. It was pretty fun. I didn't really have enough time to jump in and play it for hours and hours and hours, and I didn't really see a point because it felt like repetition after I completed the quick mission they give you in the tower assault thing. Tower assault, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a new mode. It's different than the mission, but it's just continuous fighting, kind of. You try to take a location that's fortified and there's just a ton of enemies and you die a lot. That could be an experience on my part though, so we'll see. It's hard to say what this game can be. I see a lot of potential. I really hope that the amount of content that I experienced in this is amplified by 100 over on interacting with characters and having little sub stories. There's just so many things that I really see that they can do with this, as long as they actually put the time in and don't just sit there and go, we need money now, and ruin it. Put the work in. Make something people want to stay with. You'll get your money back. Release high quality cosmetic items, not a red dot reticle. Don't sell stuff that's useless for high prices. That's the biggest thing that's going to kill this game, is if EA puts their thumb up its ass and decides to, shake it for change. I'm really hoping that we can get some type of, clan system, something like that, where you can have a set group of people that you're always able to play with, or people that are really good together. Eventually do some raids, things like that. That would be really good to see some endgame content that's worth playing. It's fun. Everyone enjoys it, but it's not so complex that people are yelling at you on how you should play your character and your game. Overall, I think that that's what hurts a lot of games, is the in-game content becomes too serious for people, and they need to relax and just let people play. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. It's just a game. No, I see a lot of potential in this game. I really do hope that it comes out and has everything that I expect it to have, or at least some of it and more promised. Until then, we're going to be sitting here twiddling our thumbs going, I wonder, is it going to be? Is it not going to be? It played well. It's polished. It runs well. Oh, the only thing I find that's kind of funny is it still has crashes that happen during loading screens. So not only are the loading screens extremely long, but they will crash your game and you have to stop, log out, re-log in, and then you can resume from the exact point you were at and it loads you right into the combat in game. It's really strange. It's a weird bug they need to fix, and I hope that it's fixed before release or people are going to be pissed off. So yeah, there's potential. I really think there's a lot of potential in this game, but I'm just not sure yet. I'm not sold yet. I wanted to talk a little bit about the story and the interaction with the world. I found 2 conversational encounters you can do in the main hub, and I was actually kind of surprised at first. I thought, you know, the voice work was a little lame and too chipper. Like, this world doesn't look happy to me. It looks like a damn desolate, you know, horrible existence of haberdasheries and, you know, Middle Eastern culture from 1927 before they had cars and shit. It feels like that in the ambiance and the look of the city and the place. So it was really weird to me that everybody was walking around just like a bunch of, you know, teenagers on lithium. I don't understand. The voice work is so uptone, and it's just like everything's so happy and we're so excited, and they're all so pleasant to each other, and it didn't feel like there was any gruffness, anything that legitimately showed me I'm in a combat game. You know, like, it's fine, 1 or 2 characters, and there's not a lot that I've experienced so far. I haven't run into any negativity in people, but the 2 people I interacted at the main hub were very, very chipper and optimistic and just happiest as they could be, and it felt a little odd that my character was always happy, always excited. Like, oh yeah, I just went out and I spent 3 weeks in the bush, you know, murdering things and fighting things and doing all this. I'm so glad I'm here. Let me tell you this, you know, cool joke I've got. It feels out of place, slightly. Maybe it's just me, my personal taste of like how I want to play through a world, but they need more voice options if that's the case. It would make it so much easier for me to be able to customize my character by giving him a demeanor. And these are things BioWare has done for decades. Putting in a gruffer tone, putting in attitude so that your responses are catered to that. And maybe this is just a stripped down version of the game and they'll have all that, but you know, right now it feels like I would get irritated hearing my own character talk after a while. Like, especially if I'm struggling at something and she's still chipping on and being happy and, you know, just bubbly as could be about how much I'm failing, I'm gonna get insanely raged at this game. Just because of the tone conflicting with my experience in the game. But, you know, it's hard to really define what I'm looking for unless you want to look at Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate 2, those types of character creations where you had true control over your character's behavior, attitude, personality. Those things I want back in games. I'm tired of these games feeling like sterile, generic, here's 1 of 6 heads to choose from games. I'm over it.
Okay. So there's this lady that comes to the bar and I think she's attracted to me.
What makes you think that?
She said, and I quote, "I'm super attracted to you."
So what's the problem?
First, she's married. Second, to an aggressive lancer. And third, I am terrible at
And the
saying
character
no.
facial models,
How do you think
my
I should handle
god,
this?
what happened to Andromeda that they got it right on this one? Because Andromeda was a fucking mess
Pretend you're playing a character
graphically.
who's great at saying
And
that.
this one looks like
That's
they
a
actually
great
took their time to
idea.
make sure they got that
That's
right
my way out
before
of
they
this.
let anybody
I
see
think
it,
my
because
character will be firm,
they would have
but
gotten
friendly.
roasted
Just
so
like
bad if
Signal
the
2, you
facial
know? My role in
animations were as
Dog
bad as in
Sounds like you got
Andromeda.
this.
You are a wise person. I'm not gonna forget this. If I ever get into a jam, I know who I'll come to for help.
Great.
Look who's
But
back in
BioWare
one
did a good
piece.
job on this. It
So,
looks
did
good.
you expect me
The
in more
characters
pieces than
look
one?
like real
You?
people.
Never.
Like, they
I trust
have
you've brought me work.
the right facial
Always good to
response
give your
for the
javelin
right
the once over
emotional
after a
response.
run.
So
What
when they
have you
say
done this
something
time?
and they're like, my dad just died today, they're not cracking a smile. You know, they look
Just my job.
somber, they look,
Fascinating.
you know,
I
weak
never would have
and
guessed.
broken,
I
and
just wanna
it's
be
a
sure
difference
everything's in
between
order.
that
That's
and,
what I like to hear.
you know, oh hey, our ship
Scars,
got
beasts,
destroyed. You want a
relic-based
beer?
nonsense?
You know, like,
Can't be too
there's a
careful up
difference.
there. I'll run you
Even
some
though the
maintenance
characters I
checks,
interacted
make
were
sure everything's
chipper and
fine.
happy and like
Won't
bubbly,
impact performance,
they're
but
supposed
I'll
to
add
be.
moisture wicking fabric to the
So
internal
as
padding
long
when
as
I'm
my
out.
character starts to get more of an edge, I think I'd be okay.
Can't argue with that.
Why would you? If you're running headfirst into chaos, may as well be comfy.
I like the way you think.
I have my moments. Go on. I'll run the checks while you're off.
The co-op system is kind of strange. At first, when you load in, the only option is to quick play, which throws you into a random team with other people. You can set up a pre-made team and then load in, but everybody has to ready up, and it seems like the UI, once again, is confusing people because they're not able to get through it easily. It's not, you can't just jump into the game solo. It won't let you. It has to matchmake for some reason. And if I don't want to deal with other players killing the objectives and blowing through the story because they've done it 100 times, and I want to just play the game for myself so I can enjoy it, or play it on stream and talk to my chat while I'm going through and enjoying the story and the world, it sucks that they're forcing my hand to be teamed up with other people. That bothers me. Because I have a few select people I like to play with, that I know how we work together, we're a good team, we've played these games before, and it just, if I'm forced to be thrown in with other players, that's a negative to me. I don't want to have to deal with randoms unless I call for them or request to join some random group so I can get an objective cleared. I don't want to be spoon-fed people that don't have any clue what each button does and things like that, and I have to wait for them constantly, or I have to constantly do all the work anyway, but now there's twice as many enemies. Could be good for farming, but I should be able to choose that, and this didn't have that really as an option. When you get in, you don't just solo queue, you jump in automatically into matchmaking, and that's weird and frustrating because there's so much more that I want to do than have to deal with other players and their nonsense. I think I said enough about that. Moving on. Squad-based combat wasn't too bad. It was hard to communicate because I wasn't, using my mic to talk to people. I wasn't, typing to anybody or anything. So communication, I think, is going to be a big thing. So if you're partied up, get on the mic, and you think you'll be able to coordinate really well and get some really sick combo damage, things like that. Take down bosses by flanking. I think that kind of combat can really be useful in this game for some of the encounters. Also having a dedicated healer, but I don't know if they have that in the game. You've got 3 different classes right now, and it feels like they should have one more. They've got a melee, berserker, ninja type character. They've got your jack of all trades, and then you have your big tank. And it feels like there should be one more that's dedicated to crowd control or healing or buffing. They need some type of support class put in. It would make a big difference. Other than that, it worked. You could revive people. You could shoot things together. It's a co-op game. That's what you're supposed to do. So altogether, it's a fun game. I see potential. I can see how the combat can get really, really good once you get a handle on it and it becomes smooth in your hands. Like, you're just not even thinking about the buttons, you're just doing it. I can see it becoming extremely fun, extremely complex. Really, really immersive world is just sitting there waiting to be filled. I can see the potential because there's hundreds of characters in the city and there's only like 3 you can talk to because the content isn't in the game right now. And I can't wait to hear little stories and quips and have these conversations with people and feel like I'm playing an RPG again that happens to be a shooter. I miss RPGs. The last good RPG we have gotten was Skyrim. And I don't even remember, what, 7 years ago that came out? It's been remade for 8 different consoles. It's been remastered 7 different times. It's got mods. That game has been the only good RPG in a long time. Fallout 4 was disappointing. 76 is a joke. Destiny 2 is a joke. Destiny 1 was a joke. You know, we have not had a good, solid RPG from a AAA company in quite some time. Path of Exile, amazing game. You know, they put a lot of work in that game, and it takes me back to my Diablo roots. You know, all these games that have come out have been either completely barren unless you keep spending money on it until they feel like finishing the game. It feels like you're buying a $60 beta, or it's been a complete shit show with no content and everybody's just been massively disappointed. Andromeda was graphically and interface wise and technically it was just a complete mess. You had constant problems with that game, and the storyline and characters were not even engaging. You didn't care about anyone. This game has potential. I can see it. I can see how bad they want to make a good game, and I think the only thing holding them back is what they're being told by their marketing department, and that's unfortunate. It's sad that they have, you know, an evil overlord like EA sitting on their head, poking them in the face, going, you need to sell stuff, you need to sell stuff, you need to sell stuff. We need more money. If it doesn't make $40 billion, it's a disappointment to us because our stock shares didn't quadruple. And I really hope that they can just make a good game, stick with it, and make the rest of the world a little bit happier because they see quality coming back. There's something needs to happen. It's been awful for years, and this game, I see potential. It could be something great. I'm hopeful. At least there's that.